suavecito, fenced up today. Fenced up today. Oh, fenced up, baby. Miami, stand up. This is fenced up today. Let's go. Sun up over there. Game day on the brain. From the tailgate smoke to the hard count rain. Orange aqua on my back. Crowd shaking every seat. We talking ball, talking heat, turn it up, feel that beat. Fins talk today. Fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Over Fins talk. Fins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos. It's Fins talk today. Hey, hey, hey. It's Fins talk today. Who you reppin'? Who you riding? Miami. Who you riding? Dolphins. We break it down, break it live. Every snap, every drop. Hey, Fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Fins talk. Fins Sammy on the way. Miami. Vamos, vamos. It's Fins talk today. Hey, hey, hey. Fins talk today.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome, Fins fam, to Fins Talk Today, powered by FTSN and Fins TV, sponsored by Canes, where I'm Bobby. Fins Talk, that's Fins Sammy of Fins TV. Sammy, woo! What's up,
Bobby,
brother?
baby? How you doing, baby? For me again, for being the off season, for having low expectations, a lot of things happen. So we got a lot to talk about this week on minicamp. Things are getting interesting. So glad to be back with you this week. So let's do it, baby. Let's talk some Dolphins.
100%. Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast already in the house. Appreciate you, Adrian.
brother.
Let's jump on in here. For everybody watching, thank you so much. Wherever you're watching from, whether that is FTSN YouTube, FTSN X, or of course my X, or Fins TV, or Twitch, or whatever. And if you're watching anywhere other than the YouTube, come on over, baby, and hit that subscription button. So much to talk about. Dolphins Minicamp is a wrap. And we got, man, there's some positivity coming out of camp. I'm excited. You should too. It's really, really good. Now let's see. Oh, wow. Is that what it did to me? Interesting. I'm going to have to throw this all back in there. I just noticed something, but as that gets glitched on our StreamYard, that's okay. But no, man, I'm so excited. Minicamp finally is a wrap. We've heard some good things about the quarterback room. Quinn Ewers really shining in his second year in camp, impressing the coaching staff. Malik Willis doing a good job as well. How about Chop Robinson making some noise? Kadyn Proctor doing some stuff. Tutu Atwell turning some heads. Not so much for Jaylen Wright. What does that mean for the running back room? We're going to get into all of that. Sammy, very interesting for the Miami Dolphins as they wrap up minicamp for today. Let's go ahead and let me see what the hell is going on here as this works here, and try to make this quick. Damn.
Some changes on the platform, right? Yeah, when I got here, I saw some,
Yeah,
stuff. So we're working on the run over here. So
working on it, but it should be a second, hopefully. We had a little bit of a glitch at the top, so we'll get it pulled up and go. Yes, the beard is growing back. I go ahead every night. I just keep rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, see if it grows in, The wife wasn't too happy about it going away.
They used to say over here that when you wanted to grow your beard back, you need to rub some chorizo in it. So
that's right. There you go. That's right.
Man.
Let me go ahead and we're going to switch this screen up. And since it kind of glitched, I'll fix it. We'll go here. We'll do this. We will do that. That looks right. That looks correct. Let's go ahead and do it. That's what happens when you're live. You think, oh, we got everything fixed. And then you come in and you're like, wait, it's not. Where did it go? And look at that. We're already wrapping it up. Stop messing with me. So
goodbye, everybody.
Good night. It was a good show. Where the hell did it go?
Awesome. Time flew by.
Look at this. Holy moly. That's not right. So as we continue to try to fix the glitch, There you go. That's
There.
right. That's right. Why is it all the way?
Flagship.
Yes.
Chorizo, yes. Adrian Chorizo. Remember those?
Man,
Adrian.
Adrian having fun. Adrian having fun. You got to have some fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Um,
And see you Tuesday, bro.
That's right. That's right. As I'm working on this, why don't you tell people what's going on Tuesday, dude?
Yeah, well, Fins TV is back on Tuesday. You're not gonna have the announcement tomorrow, but you're gonna say first is premiere here on FTSA on the flagship. Fins TV is coming back this week. On Tuesday, you're gonna wrap up the minicamp stuff. So you had a lot to talk about. Jeff Halfley first. Minicamp. Malik Willis, of course. Making a lot of buzz. Quinn Ewers making a lot of buzz. We're gonna talk about that over here. Ages and extensions. It's been a while since the Fins TV crew, got together to talk Dolphins. So this Tuesday on the Fins TV network, we're gonna talk about what it's been for the last month and a half since the draft. It's gonna be some fun there. Fins TV goes. Steve had it, Shari had it, Jason Sarney, Adrian Rainey, hopefully Matt Armstrong is gonna be. So hopefully the whole crew is gonna be back on Tuesday for Fins TV at 8 p.m.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Let's see here. So Dolphins minicamp is a wrap. 3 days of camp, 3 days of noise. Excited about that. Love most of what I saw. A lot of good notes, and shout out to the people who cover it. Again, Travis Ringfield of the Dolphins and all the journalists and everything else. Appreciate them and the stories they've been able to put out. Obviously they can't share too much about what they're seeing because it's a competitive advantage. You don't want to have that happen, but enough to discuss and enough to get excited about if you are a Dolphins fan. And the first things first, as I continue to try to figure out what the hell is going on in the background here, I still have a couple of these right. So first is first. Here is the quarterback room. Quinn Ewers, man. Quinn Ewers having a good camp so far, a very good camp, enough for people to take notice and some people to say, is he having a better camp than Malik? I think that is a little unfair. I think, again, camp is camp, but it is good to see that your 7th round pick, a guy, again, who we talked about, is a guy who just a few years before he was drafted was one of the top quarterbacks in the college where they were saying, hey, this guy could be a 1st round pick. He gets picked up in the 7th round. He comes in tough situations last year in Miami, plays decent. He's your QB2, and this is what you want to see from your QB2. But what I love is that he's taking this QB competition that John Eric Sullivan has said, everybody has competition. Malik may be QB1 on day 1 of camp, but if he doesn't live up to that role, and maybe Quinn Ewers is, we might have an issue. Is it too early to talk about that issue? Maybe. But still very promising to see that your QB2, your projected QB2, looks better than what we've had years past. And your QB1 still looking good enough. More aggressive downfield. Reporters are noting that both quarterbacks, Malik and Quinn, have been pushing the ball vertically more than previous open practices. Ewers looks more comfortable attacking immediate and deep windows. Laying the throw over defenders. He actually had a very good pass over Jacob Rodriguez the other day, or at practice. Again, looks more comfortable operating under pressure. Let's just talk first about Quinn Ewers, then we'll get into Malik. But you're hearing this about Quinn Ewers. You're seeing what they're saying. He's having a better camp. He looks comfortable. It looks better than what he did last season. What are your thoughts on Quinn Ewers and what he's doing in camp so far?
Last year I said that I felt like Quinn Ewers, for my taste, looked better than any backup the Dolphins have in recent years. And he was a rookie, a 7th round draft pick, but he shined at times. I had the opportunity to be at that Tampa Bay game, and he has some good throws. And I think that to play that last 3 or 4 games of the season, I think it really helped him. To be the star of the team, to take command of the team. I think it really helped him. So, of course, like you said, he was supposed to be probably 1st round pick before, things changed and he ended up being a 7th round pick for the Dolphins. So Dolphins got a steal. And, for a team that basically had almost half of the salary cap compromise, to have a bargain, a 7th round pick as your backup quarterback at the least, a capable backup quarterback, for that kind of money, it's a 7th round money, it's just a steal. What's the worst thing that can happen? That Malik's beating, and you have another trade chip in a couple of years from now. You can trade it for a second round pick or so. I think so. You can have it a backup now, and be capable. If Malik is a running quarterback, he's bound to get hurt. So need a good backup quarterback. So that the very least to have Quinn Ewers playing well, I think it's awesome. We have to wait and see. It's also been reported that Malik is not a great practice quarterback. He shines at games, but the problem with Tennessee that the practice were not good enough for Mike Vrabel to feel confidence of putting him on Sunday. So there's some quarterbacks like that. They don't perform as well during the practice, but once the game starts, the guy plays completely different. So it's gonna be interesting. But the fact that that we gotta have a quarterback competition. Of course, Malik is a starter right now. He's with the kind of money they paid him, he's expected to be the starter. But to be pushed by Quinn Ewers, I think that's the best thing that can happen. So I'm really happy that's happening.
No, 100%. I agree with that. It's good. It's good that your young quarterback who's only in his second year is doing enough to impress a coaching staff that didn't draft him. They don't have anything that has to lock them up or have to like him. They could easily say, hey, he's not good enough. We're going to go and try to get a veteran guy to be the backup. But they're seeing enough that they're very impressed with what Quinn Ewers is doing. Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, I had it here, says, I really like what Quinn's done. In particular, the last 3 days, I really think I've seen Quinn take that next step. So that's really positive to hear from your rookie OC. Again, you would think he's, it's going to pump up the new quarterback, who we all assume will be in the QB1. But obviously, Quinn is doing enough to turn heads for a regime that has said they want guys willing to play, willing to compete. And he's doing just that. He's answering the call of competition, even if he doesn't think he really has a shot. He's going to do enough where they might have to think about it. And I think that's great. That's the type of guy you want in your locker room who, when, he could have said, this was a great opportunity. I could have had a chance to start. They went and got Malik. This sucks, and kind of give up and be second fiddle, except he goes, no, he takes it as a challenge and says, no, I got to play the best ball to show them that maybe they have to think, should we go with Malik or should we go with Quinn? That's the type of guy you want, who practices like the starter, who prepares like the starter, kind of like what Malik did in Green Bay, which turned heads for Halfley and Sullivan, where they're like, we want this guy to be our starting quarterback or our biggest free agent. Going for our first season as running the Dolphins. Malik Willis, though, in spite of what you may be hearing from prominent writers, etc., that Quinn is having a better camp, and maybe he is. If you're watching it and you're like, hey, man, Quinn is looking a lot comfortable. He's looking a lot better than Malik Willis. Malik Willis is having a strong camp. It's not like he's having a bad camp. And you bring up a great point about, I don't see it as a bad thing that Quinn is probably doing being a little more comfortable and better. I feel a lot better that if Malik goes down or maybe, has to step out the field because of something, we have a guy who could come in and probably produce a couple good plays or produce a couple good games. But Malik is having a strong camp. Led a couple late scoring drives. He's done what we expect him to do in regards of using his legs, has escaped pressure, extends plays with his legs, steps up in the pocket to make a big throw, connected with Ben Sims, tight end, for a 40-yard touchdown, which is, that's great news. That's a great thing to hear. But again, what was simply not a deep throw, what it showcased was pocket awareness, mobility, play extension, downfield vision. Something you want out of your starting quarterback in today's NFL, especially in the AFC East, where defenses are more prominent and a lot harder than in other divisions. You want to have a guy who could, be aware of what the pocket is doing. Is it breaking down? Is one side holding better than the other? Mobility, able to escape and extend the play, but also continue to look downfield to make that play or run. Everything you're hearing so far, at least at a minicamp, is positive with the Dolphins quarterback room. What are your thoughts on Malik Willis and what he's been able to do at minicamp?
Well, Malik, of course, the problem with Malik also has been that he didn't have enough. he came for Liberty. Of course, that wasn't the biggest program in the world. So he went to Tennessee. Like I said, he didn't perform well at practice. Mike Vrabel is the kind of coach that expects you to perform as you get faster of the game. So he fell behind the ball, and when he was traded, of course, you get traded to Green Bay, and Green Bay is a completely different world. You got a lot of weapons. You got Jordan Love in front of you. You have a great structure. You got a great coaching staff. So when he got the opportunity to play in Green Bay, he had a complete structure. He had a complete coaching staff. So he outperformed the expectation that everybody could have for him as someone being traded for a 7th round pick, as it was to Green Bay. So the problem with it is that Jeff Hadley said it so many times that he sometimes used those mobile quarterbacks get tempted to run every single time the play breaks down. So Jeff Hadley says so many times that when he was playing scout for him, he had to remind him to don't run, look for the read, wait for it. So that's going to be the challenge for Malik over here. So he has the arm, of course, he has the mobility. The guy runs like the wind. He's awesome that in that capability of running. In today's game, you need that. You need a quarterback that you can improvise. That's what Tua didn't have. That's what if Tua had that part of the game, and with that and the injuries, that was the reason why he could not perform to the standard of today's NFL. So I think Malik is going to be fine because everybody says he's had a cannon for an arm. The speed is there. The weapons in Miami right now are not the weapons he's had in Green Bay. Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, the rookies. You need chemistry, but you also need talent. So we have to wait and see because it's a handicap. But like I said last week, I'm gonna judge Malik the same way everybody judged Tua. He needs to overcome the adversity. If he doesn't find a way to overcome the adversity, he's not it. So I think having a good camp, he's saying the right things. Every time you watch a Malik Willis interview, he's the spot. He knows what to say. He acts like a leader. You expect that from him. So he's performing well every single facet of what we expect right now. But when the season starts and the Pats come on during training camp, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But so far, so good for him.
Absolutely. Really cool. Again, the opium is an all-time high. Of course it is, right? You're hearing good things out of camp, but it is mini camp, right? But still, you like to hear and see that. Now, not all is good, but we're going to continue with the good until we get to some of the bad. But the good is one guy we've discussed. The guy we discussed is a potential guy who could be on the hot seat this year as a player. Did not have a very good sophomore year, decent rookie year, not a very good sophomore season. Some people are already saying he's a bust, which is kind of ridiculous. It's a little too early for that. But a guy we've also talked about who could have a breakout season if he responds well to the new coaching staff, especially a defensive-minded coach like Coach Hafley. And right now, Chop Robinson is reportedly having a very, very good camp. A solid camp. Again, you brought up about, gotten a little bigger, but also again, what he's done. He's had some flashes in camp. He had a sack today on the 3rd and final day of minicamp. It seems like his name is being brought up every practice. Generated pressure during late game situations, contained the outside run, actually against Jaylen Wright, who we're going to discuss in just a bit. He maintained the edge discipline. So he's playing way better so far in practice enough that he's turning heads when everybody was kind of expecting, hey, man, he's been struggling. Let's watch him. Let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to continue to struggle? Is he going to step up? So far, stepping up. Some people, some reporters, some of the guys who are there, the talking heads, are saying he's the most consistent defensive player on Miami's defense so in mini camp with 3 days.
That's a lot.
Your reaction to what Chop Robinson has been doing?
Well, last week we talked about Chop Robinson being in the spot. He's in the hot seat because a first round pick. Last year he took a step back, came out with apparently with more weight. That's good news because he's going to be asked to be more efficient in stopping the run and setting the edge. So you need more weight for that. So when you see every single clip, Jeff Hafley, the way Jeff Hafley, I gotta tell you before I go to Chop, I love the way Jeff Hafley handles the team, the way he talks to the players. There's something there. That's the kind of leader you want. But there's a clip running around of Jeff Hafley talking, look, kind of ribbon, but trying to get under his skin because of course, if you think that he's just encouraging. He knows the camera is there, and he goes to Chop and say, you did a good job today, set up the edge, kind of, chewing gum, but he's kind of, like poking him,
Yes, poking the bear.
People are, the camera is there, and people are watching. People know that you need to come here and stop the edge. That, I don't think that was casual. I think that he was poking the bear right there, telling him that, you see the cameras are watching, and people want to know what you're doing. You have to perform. So Chop Robinson, again, the first round pick. A lot more was expected of him last year. He regressed, but the buzzword right now is too big because he's not Deion Jordan right now. He's not Charles Harris. So I don't think he's a buzz right now. If he retires today, he will be a buzz. But he still had at least 2 more years on the contract. So we have to wait and see. But the fact that he came to camp and apparently looks focused, and that's all we can ask right now. That he knows the importance of the situation. That he knows he has to perform. New regime, the spotlight's on him, and we have to wait and see. But again, he has no excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses for anyone. Chop Robinson is one of those people that I don't want any excuse because, again, first round pick, he has to perform better. And apparently, he knows he has to.
Yeah, absolutely. Other defensive standouts, Ronnie Harrison Jr. Showed some positive plays during minicamp. He tipped a Quinn Ewers pass. Always around the football, making plays. Looks like he could probably be a rotational defender. Chris Johnson, the rookie, another first round pick for the Dolphins this season, flashed some elite athleticism, showcased some range and recovery ability. Really excited about that. And Juju Brents, almost had another pick yesterday. Has been doing well in camp. Had recorded a interception the day before. So very cool. And then also something that came out too with Kyle Lewis, linebacker and safety. Dolphins, supposedly the report is the Dolphins are planning on using him at safety, which is very interesting. So love that noise. But with what you're seeing, what you're hearing about Chris Johnson, the rookie, but also Kyle Lewis, what are your thoughts on that?
I want to start first with Juju Brents because you mentioned Juju Brents. I saw an interview of Juju saying he knows he has to stay on the field. That the problem has been injuries. He apparently is doing work with soft tissues. He improved his diet. Those things I like to hear that because if your player has a problem with injuries, unless you're in San Francisco and you have a power plant behind you, and that's the reason why you're getting so many injuries. That I think that's kind of funny, But Juju Brents, that's about the problem with him with the Colts. He came here and he light the sky on fire. I think he had a very couple of good games. As soon as he got here, he played very, very well. But what happened? He got injured. So if he finds a way to stay on the field, I think Juju Brents is gonna be a really good player because I think he performed very well last year when he was healthy. Chris Johnson, apparently that's the guy Jeff Hadley wanted to be the one to play chess with. He wants to move it around. So it's a slot. He wants to put it in the corner, at the boundary. Apparently, he wants to do a lot of things with him. He's going to be, that kind of weapon that you know where he's coming from. So he's going to be key for Jeff Hadley's defense. So the fact that he's performing as a first-round pick, because sometimes I forget that he's a first-round pick. I kind of feel like he's a second-round pick, but no, he's a first-round pick. So that, the weight of being a first-round pick is also on him. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome. The secondary, we talked so many times, is the Achilles heel of this team. If they can find a way to get enough good bodies, good performing bodies, this defense can surprise a lot of people. But again, everybody has to stay healthy. The rookie has to perform. And when you have a lot of ifs, I always say every time in Fins TV, when you have a lot of ifs, things are bound to get out of control. So we have to wait and see how the rookies perform, how the young team perform, and how Juju Brents find a way to stay in the field. If those things happens, the secondary might surprise a lot of people.
No, yeah, absolutely right. Again, just to see rookies stepping up, not always the case. Again, Chris Bell, been working on the side. I think same thing with Caleb Douglas. Let's see here. Let me make sure I pull this up with the rookie report. He was spending some time on the stationary bike. Chris Bell, who's of course nursing that injury, worked on the side again. Miami did bring in former first-round pick Jaylen Wright, another wide receiver into camp, more basic returner. Nothing explode. Nothing like, oh my gosh, what a signing, but still interesting enough for where maybe Chris Bell might be in this part of the process with his health.
Former first round pick, that's the guy that, a lot of expectations, because, the way he was drafted, that's the guy that was drafted instead of Jefferson in Minnesota. I think in Philadelphia. So, a lot of expectations for him. He has not performed up to par to anywhere he's been, but who knows? Sometimes, those kind of veterans, the presence alone helps the young guys. So we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. Again, when I always think about what John Eric Sullivan said. Again, he always emphasizes competition. And when he, and it looks like when he brings in these type of guys, it's not about, oh, we're thinking this guy is going to be something great, like, oh, we found a hidden gem no, it's more about who can push this next guy, who's going to be able to step up, and Tutu Atwell has been doing that, and we're going to get into it in just a second. Another rookie or wide receiver, Kevin Coleman. Caleb Douglas, he had a good catch. He worked on the stationary bike. Chris Bell did work on the side, but Kevin Coleman, multiple catches over the middle, keeps stacking positive plays. This is a guy who could be a return man for the Miami Dolphins, potentially taking that spot for Achin, so we don't have to risk Achin or possibly Malik Washington. Kadyn Proctor having a good camp as well, a mini camp.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Proctor, who had all rookies are signed, which is great news. That's awesome. They got it all done.
Yes.
They've got to work. They finished it. So all the guys playing in. Proctor, who they labeled as guard tackle, actually cleared Kenneth Grant out of a running lane, opened a huge hole for Ollie Gordon. Love to see Ollie having a solid camp as well. Strength is showing, big girthy man at left guard with Patrick Paul showing his strength. That's what you love to see. Technique showing flashes of improvement, especially very early on. Shows why it's showing that flash that, hey, he was supposed to be that 13th pick, going to live up to that expectation for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, I do. Could he start? He absolutely. I think he's going to be the starter, and he's going to show off very quickly. Talking about the opposite side of that, Jaylen Wright. We talked a lot about obviously Devon Achin and our expectations of him, most consistent offensive player. You could always rely on him to give his full effort, even if it's not a great game and the team struggles. Achin's going to give you your best. I've actually said Ollie Gordon I have projected as my breakout player this year. I think he's going to have, with the new and improved offensive line and the emphasis on the run, I think we're going to see a better version of Ollie Gordon where we're going, holy crap, we got our two-headed guy. But some people have asked, what about Jaylen Wright? Why are we forgetting Jaylen Wright? We're not. I think Jaylen Wright has the potential to be a solid player in the league. However, he has not lived up to that expectation. And so far in camp, he has not lived up to that expectation. Reportedly, he is struggling with catching the football. He's had a couple drops. This is a guy who needs to do something to get an opportunity. You have to be good at something. If you're not better than Achin or Ollie at running the ball, especially Achin, Ollie obviously is having a more solid camp, but if you're not better than them at that, and maybe you can't return and you're struggling to catch, that's why you're the third guy in the lineup or potentially the fourth guy if another guy steps up. Jaylen Wright has to do something, or he could find himself on the outside looking in Miami. Do I think he has the potential to fix it? Absolutely. He has the talent. He just has to take advantage of that talent and do it. He could get it done. He just hasn't so far, which sucks for him. But again, with a coaching staff and a front office that's have emphasized, if you're not stepping up and showing off and showing out and producing, you're not going to get opportunities here. We're not going to waste time. Jaylen Wright needs to step up now. Sammy, your thoughts on Jaylen Wright and his production in camp so far?
Jaylen Wright last year had a lot of interviews saying that he been preparing during the offseason. He had a lot of expectation for himself. The season started, he had some flashes, but again, for someone the Dolphins traded off to get. One of those players the Dolphins traded assets to get. That's the team that keeps repeating itself. I can bear seven. Right. You trade assets. You compromise a lot of assets to get someone you really want. He has to perform. And sadly, Jaylen Wright doesn't have not performed. I think he has a lot of potential. The speed is there. When he commits himself to to run through the tackles, he does very, very well. Has some good runs. Has some good moments, on good spots, but he cannot find a way to be consistent. So I'm rooting for him. I think the way you feel about Ollie Gordon, I kind of feel about Jaylen Wright, because I when he came to the Dolphins, I had a lot of position for him as a 1-2 punch combo with Devon Achane. So hopefully he finds a way, to pack it up and find a way to see it, because I think that's the last year in the contract, right? I think he might be a free agent after this season. So if he might be cut, he might be traded. Who knows? So he has to make the best of the opportunity. When training camp starts and the pass come on, that's one of the guys that needs to find a way, like you said, has to find a way to perform, has to find a niche for himself, or he's not going to be here anymore.
Yeah, again, it is not, maybe in the past Dolphin regimes, you continue to get opportunities. They just keep keep feeding you the ball, keep feeding you an opportunity. I don't see that with this team. If they're giving it to you and you can't catch a ball and you're dropping it, you're not consistently productive, you're not consistently giving effort, you're not going to see the field. So my hope is Jaylen Wright could fix it and start to show up and show out, and hopefully he lasts till preseason. Maybe he shows some kind of flashes when he does have that opportunity. Other than that, if this trend continues, he might not be a Miami Dolphin much longer, if not this season, the season after, especially on the deal. The wide receiver room. A lot's been made about Chris Bell. I'm one of those guys. I cannot wait for him to get healthy and ready to go. I think he's going to be wide receiver 1 eventually, or wide receiver 1A, 2A, whatever. If we do and get Jeremiah Smith the year after, fingers crossed. But Chris Bell, Caleb Douglas, again, TD Fitz talk saying Caleb Douglas is his breakout player. And, again, I don't think that's crazy. Caleb Douglas has all the talent in the world. He's fast. He makes big catches. He's big. He's tall. So a lot of noise.
He looks smooth. He looks smooth.
Does.
He looks very smooth.
Very attractive film seeing it for minicamp so far. But Tutu Atwell, which is one of those signings where when you saw it, you kind of like, you saw the size. We all know who Tutu Atwell was. But when you saw that signing, you've seen what he's done through his career. You see his size. You're kind of like, that's not kind of what I thought for the Dolphins receiver room. Well, Malik Washington's another one who, awesome individual, by the way. Met him, great guy. But another guy who kind of fell behind the scenes where nobody was like, hey, Malik Washington, he's a guy we talked about as possible breakout player. But both these guys were having solid camps, which, again, is great news for the Miami Dolphins, especially with a team that many people are kind of already writing off, which rightfully so. We talk about the secondary struggles and everything else, but not a lot of high or any kind of expectations for the Miami Dolphins. So to see that when guys are coming into camp and they're not, especially with a new regime, new coaching, a new game plan, et cetera, it's like, okay, we expect some hiccups. We expect a slow start. We expect guys to struggle. Seems like the opposite, Sammy. Especially with the receivers, you want to see maybe Tutu Atwell respond like, hey, this is my opportunity to try to snag a number 1, number 2 spot. Same thing with Malik Washington. He saw Miami take 2, 3 wide receivers in the draft. He saw everybody not talk about him. Maybe he has that chip on his shoulder going, I'm going to take a spot and I'm not going to give it back. I love it. I'm not worried about taking any spots away from anybody. Oh, but this is going to stunt the growth of Bell and Douglas or what? No. You need to earn your spot. And right now, Tutu and Malik, if they continue to perform in the way they're doing, and if they go into training camp or preseason, and they continue to show up and show off, and they go into the season like this, they should be our wide receiver 1 and 2 if they do so. What are your thoughts on the receiver room the performances so far?
I always like Tutu. Tutu. Well, I think he has so many big plays with the Rams. He didn't get too many catches because of a lot of talent, but there were spots when some big plays. He was a playmaker. Jimmy also used to say that at least if you're not gonna get a lot of catches, you're not gonna get a lot of playing time. You gotta be a playmaker. You gotta make the best of every single opportunity. Tutu Atwell is that kind of player, so I kind of like that. So he's a playmaker. The wide receiver room, you need to have chemistry with the quarterbacks. You need to find, you got to have experience. And this team either doesn't have a lot of experience at wide receiver or not have a lot of chemistry, a lot at the wide receiver quarterback combination because, everybody's new. We had to wait and see. It's early, but, that's the reason why they went away and got Jaylen Wright. They see that something's missing there. When you make that kind of move,
Good point.
You want to send a message, you want to create a spark, or, there's something that the players that are there are not bringing. So they had to be, cautious about the money because, of course, they got some cap relief this week. They've signed their draft picks, but that doesn't mean they have a lot of money to spend. So they're not going to go there and get Stephon Diggs. They're not going to do that. So they had to be conscious. But they sent a clear message when they went out to the free market. So it's early again, but, that's going to be a fight. I hate to remind myself of that Hard Knocks segment with Jeff Island saying we had a lot of 4, 5, and 6s. We had to find 1, 2s, and 3s, but we are exactly in the same position this year. It's the same. It's exactly the same. We don't know who's going to be the one. Tolbert might be the one. Tutu might be the one. Malik might be the one. Who knows? So when Chris Bell comes back, hopefully he plays by mid-season. That would be great. But he's going to be coming back from injury. He's a rookie, so who knows? So the wide receiver room. It's early. It's complicated because again, either too young or too inexperienced with the quarterback. But by week 3 of the preseason, if we're still looking for who's the 1, who's the 2, we're gonna have troubles by week 5 because this team, that schedule is brutal. They had to come up and running by week 1. They have to find a way to strike the wide receiver room with 1s and 2s quickly, or we're gonna be a huge mess going into the season.
Absolutely. Let me just go very quick over to day 3 notes from today. Malik Willis and Quinn Ewers had again wrapped it up on a solid camp through a handful of touchdowns. Malik Washington, Theo Reese, Tolbert, Terrence Marshall all had a touchdown. Greg Delchitz got a touchdown as well from Malik Willis. Kevin Coleman, again, we just talked about him and the rookie report. Finished off a strong week with several catches, becoming a very reliable target for Dolphin quarterbacks. And of course, goes out. Same for Tutu Atwell, who had 3 catches today as well during 11 on 11, which is very good to hear. Also, Jason Marshall, talking about rookies, but a guy in his second year, he's caught some eyes as well. Forgot to bring that up, which is really good. Dante Trader, the safety, broke up 2 passes. Jason Marshall and Chris Johnson both had breakup passes in the end zone, which is good. Chop, again, had another sack today. That's 1 per day all week. Kenneth Grant was able to get Willis out of his spot and was able to kill a play, which is very good to see. And again, Miami, of course, wrapping up, signing up their rookie free agents, which is awesome to, no holdouts or anything like that. Let's see, get this here. Let's see if this glitch works. If it's not going, but that's okay. Let's see. Either way, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But Semi, woo! Again, you kind of brought it up. You said it at the top. Let you say it again. Exciting news for Tuesday. I've seen the hype. I saw the hype video. I can't wait for it to get released. Tomorrow. Big news for Tuesday. Woo! Fins TV is back. Tell everyone what to expect for Fins TV, man.
We're going to have our June edition of Fins TV this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Of course, the Fins TV crew is back. Steve had it, Adrian Rady, Jason Sarney, Cherry had it, and hopefully Matt Armstrong, of course, are going to be there. The training camp, it's been a while since the Fins TV crew has got together to talk some Dolphins. So you're going to talk about, the training camp, the mini camp, AJ resigning, Malik Willis with Quinn Ewers, everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks. So it's going to be good. Of course, we have a lot of fun. Adrian's going to be there. He already said LFG. So, absolutely. So, we're going to have a lot of fun as we always do on Fins TV this Tuesday at 8 p.m. And a hype video about the return of Fins TV tomorrow on X at 9 a.m.
Awesome. I can't wait. Again, you Dolphin fans, if you have not seen Fins TV, you've seen that crew, you've seen that production, you're missing out. There's a lot of great content, Dolphin content creators out there for sure, no doubt. But, Fins, and then Sammy knows I'm the same as Sammy. We don't like that, so I'm not trying to make them all go, oh, shut up, Bobby, I don't want to hear it. But I was going to say, the production, the crew, everybody on Fins TV does an awesome job. There's all different type of perspectives on the Dolphins, positive, negative, sublime, the guys who are like neutral, I have no expectations.
Or way too positive if you have Armstrong, because that guy is really positive.
Yes. So, you've got it all. You have all types of the fandom there, which is really cool to see, but also good for fans who have different thoughts throughout the process. But again, the production, every little topic has a video, and Sammy kills it. The crew kills it. So go to Fins TV, hit that subscription button. Of course, if you can't get enough of Sammy, watch Fins Talk Today on Thursday nights. And of course,
the
flagship show, Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast. Go check out Adrian. Again, Dolphins, Heat, Marlins, South Florida Sports, Wrestling with 2 Raw for SmackDown. Killed it with his Clash of Italy content this past weekend. Love that. Talking about wrestling. If you love professional wrestling, if you're here on the channel and go check out the No Holds Barred Wrestling channel. Recently opened, started up. We under the FTSN umbrella, but separate. We have so much content with that channel, with No Holds Barred, that I was like, you need to get a library, and then, let's do different types of show. Actually, I did the first Nitro Rewind show, episode 1 of Nitro. Went back 3 matches, Sammy, only 3, which was crazy. 45-minute show. I'm like, what is this? It was awesome.
That's the one with Luger runs in.
Luger showed up, Hogan, with
the puffy shirt. With the puffy shirt.
Count Dracula, Count Luger.
It's gonna be a pirate.
You know what, though? I'll tell you what, man. That was my jam. I absolutely loved it. Seeing Ric Flair and Sting. That was the match. That was the second match on the card. But that was Surfer huge. Sting was another tier, man.
Yes.
So Lou says subscribe to the channel for amazing wrestling content. Adrian, I want to get all you guys out there, man. Yeah, I went out and I got that. Thank you, Adrian. Yes, but I would love to get you guys on that channel to talk professional wrestling. Maybe we could watch a Nitro together and react as we watch one of these early Nitros. I think that would be what I love about it is you kind of turn back. It's like WrestleMania, right? You turn back the clock and you're watching these older wrestlers, and it makes you appreciate the old school. So very different. Cool. It is. So if you like wrestling, if you love professional wrestling, from the new to the old, we have Real Talk Wrestling with Josh Kimmel, Clutch, and El Ginger Americano. They talk about current events. Yes, that's it. You have, we got our PLE reactions. You've got No Holds Barred Wrestling podcast. You got the Nitro Rewind. You have the Dynamite show as well, where Josh will recap. Got a lot of great stuff on there and new stuff that we're doing as well. So do me a favor, go hit that. Go check out the channel. I have the nostalgia is absolutely right, Adrian, when it comes to this. But go to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscription button and tune in and join in on the conversation. But also let me know if you want to pop in the show. I'd love to get you guys on to talk professional wrestling, especially old school stuff. I'd love to do that. So also, though, let's talk about our sponsor, Caneswear. For Dolphin fans, especially, they got great Dolphins gear, Panthers, Heat, Marlins, Inter Miami. They've got it all. South Florida Sports, especially Miami Hurricanes, obviously. They got great stuff, actually. I just made an order myself. And I'll tell you what's great about their customer service. I put in an order. I got a call the following day. Ooh, I like that. I love it. Let's get a Macho Man themed show. I am 100% down for that, brother.
Come in. I want a part of that.
Yeah, dude, Macho Man. See, that's what I want to do. I want to do something like that. Bobby, he's gonna drop a link. Hell has froze over for wrestling. Yeah, that's we all can have fun with that. Smart ass. But was I saying, talking about the customer service, I made an order. The very next day, I got a call from Michelle from Caneswear. Said, hey, we got your order. We're working on it. We saw that one of our items, unfortunately, there was a glitch in the system. One of the items you ordered actually is not in stock. It hasn't been for a year. For whatever reason, it popped back up. We're so sorry. Is there something else we could refund that money, or we could get something else on it? Very quick, very easy. I called back. I said, let me call you right back. Let me look. I searched very quick. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. Keep the money. Let me get this. Done. Sealed. Delivered. So that's what they do. Great customer service, quick to the point, good people. 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. If you're in South Florida, if you're in that area, if you're not, Caneswear.com and the Caneswear app. They have an app. Go check it out. And they also have a YouTube channel, Caneswear TV. Gio, Brett, Mondo, the crew, they kill it. They're flying, they're skyrocketing. Love those guys. They're part of the FTSN family for life. So go check them out. Fins TV on Tuesday, FTSN every day. We got Fantasy Now Plus with Fantasy Sports. East 10th Street Boys had a very fun episode yesterday with Alex and myself talking Heat. Giannis, we're waiting for Giannis. Does Giannis come to the Heat? We'll see if he does. Woohoo! We continue. WrestleMania 10 is coming on Saturday for our WrestleMania Rewind on No Holds Barred Wrestling channel and FTSN No Holds Barred Wrestling podcast. I'm Bobby Finstock. That is the one and only Fins Sammy. Dolphin fans, no matter what, up, down, all around, make sure you like, subscribe, but most importantly, as always, Dolphin fans, Fins up.